suckers off. Ugh. Okay. Let's double check that everything's working. Let's look. Let's look. Okay. Looks like everything is rocking and rolling. Nice. Well, today I got this big mama jama to open up. This is the Warcry 2.0 battle box. This is Warcry, the Heart of Ghur. This is their sort of like expand, like they're calling it a new edition, right? But the rules and stuff didn't really change. So because of that, I hesitate to really call it a new edition. It's like an expanded edition, if anything, where they added some new stuff and rearranged some stuff and all that. And that's all cool. But it's not like they rebooted everything from the ground up, which is really good, because that doesn't invalidate like everything you have currently, right? They updated some character profiles and they added to the rules and stuff. Hello! But like they didn't like completely like fuck the pooch the way they did with Warcry. Not Warcry, Kill Team. So that's really nice. You know, super, super nice. So this is the new like battle box for it. I did increase the price on these battle boxes, which is pretty lame. But you do get a lot of stuff in here. So, she's a hefty box. And you're going to end up getting 2 different teams. All the Warcry cards and books and rulers and dice. All that kind of stuff. Basically everything you need to play. You're going to get a game mat, which is like a cardboard thing, I think. And then a whole bunch of terrain. I was a little on the fence about picking this up because I'm still kind of on the fence about the terrain. But we'll see when I actually get to see it. Because I think it's kind of neat how it all like fits together, but it also seems slightly out of scale, and that bugs me. But we'll see when we actually get to check out the Sprues and stuff. But both the teams are really neat. The Rottmeier Creed are kind of like Nurgle worshippers, and they're like kind of like swampy, and the Horns of Hashut are, they worship Hashut, obviously from the name, who's like a pseudo chaos god, like a lesser chaos god about like fire and death and all that kind of stuff. He's the god worshipped by the Chaos Dwarves, which is really surprising that they aren't Chaos Dwarves in this box, but alright, let's crack her open. Oh. And inside, there's a shit ton of Sprues. They did that cool thing again where they put the teams like on the side of the box. Did they do it on this side too? Yeah, they did. Yeah, so one side's got the Horns of Hashut, and one side's got the Rottmeier Creed. Alright. Let's see what we got. We got our sprue for the Rottmeier. So it's 2 like medium sprues put together. These guys are going to have a couple of options. But there's a lot of monopose in here as well. But there are a couple of options for them, which is nice. Then we got our... And we'll take a closer look at the Sprues in a couple minutes, once I sort of empty the box. We got our Hashut. I like the fact these guys have a lot of like flails and stuff, because I'm a big fan of flails, and I like they have these like hammers that like turn into flails, it looks like, and that's really cool. Alright, we got all of the crazy amounts of terrain. One there with like a big tree and some big spine piece. Got one. It's like walkways. It looks like some scatter terrain. Lots of bones. Lots of tree bits. And we got some more walkways and some more scatter. Looks like. So it looks like a duplicate of one of the walkway sprue at least. This is the one with the giant skull on it, which is pretty badass. Ugh. And this one's some kind of big skull and some more weird meat trees. Some piece of like big spine. And we got just a whole bunch of trees as well. So it looks like 10-ish sprues total. It's pretty nice. Then we got the separator, which is there to protect the books and stuff from the sprues bouncing around. Then we got our board and some tokens. We'll open those up in a couple of minutes. And then down at the bottom, we've got cards. We'll go through all those. We've got both the rule books. So there's a core book in here, and then there's like a supplementary book, which is sort of like just for this box. And then we got the new dice, which I actually like the colors of a lot, and a whole bunch of bases. So, you there, like that, you in there. You off to the side, like that, and we're gonna start looking at stuff. Alright, since we got them out first, let's take a look at the dice. Alright, so we got yellow, black, and like what I think is supposed to be like a bone white. They're nice kind of like rounded edge dice. The Warcry dice from the original box are literally some of the dice I use the most out of all of my dice. So honestly, it's kind of nice to have similar dice. Similar dice, but in different colors. It's actually super handy. So yeah, they're nice. They're nice little dice. It's a shame they don't come in a little like Ziploc or something to put them in, but you can't have everything. Next, I guess let's look at some of the sprues. Let's see, what do we got here? We got some terrain. That's really cool. The skull there with like the tree growing out of it. That's actually really neat. We got the weird trees with like their claws. Honestly, if you painted the trees up in like a red and made it like a hellscape set, that'd be kind of cool. The one thing I don't like is how big these bamboo pieces are. They feel out of size. We got that one. And we got this guy. Ooh. That spine piece is really neat. It's got a bunch of little bones mixed in there as well. A bunch of orc skulls. There's like half a skull. I like all the little bones and stuff. That's kind of cool. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be really tempted to paint the trees red and like do them like they're made of meat. I'm going to genuinely be really tempted about that. This is like a big, you can see the mouth there, right? Like that's the muzzle piece. This is a really big like saber-toothed tiger skull. That's what this one is. This terrain is a lot more detailed than I thought it would be. Oh, there's one growing out of a giant skull. That's really cool. Yeah, it's a lot more detailed. There's a lot of little bits and bobs hidden around. I really like that. It didn't look that detailed on the website. Nice. And we got one of the duplicates. So there's another one of those spines and more skulls and bits around it. And there's a bunch of like Seraphon blocks and stuff around as well. Because there's supposed to be a bunch of Seraphon wreckage in the area. It's a cool spine. Yeah, see, like this piece feels less detailed, feels kind of crappy. But like, if you look at this, that looks nice. Like the Seraphon piece looks really nice. I know, like these look less detailed and crappy. Like no one's ever going to be able to walk on that walkway. You know what I mean? But then you look at like the spine, and the fact it's going to like connect with this. And it's like, oh, that looks nice. So yeah, just a weird mix. So you get 2 of those, so you're going to end up getting like 2 sets of walkways, which is pretty sweet. And then this big mama jama, just like a really big spine. I guess one of the trees grows out of that, because it looks like the tree goes flunk, just like that on top of it. It's pretty cool. And a bunch of walkways and stuff. Nice. So that's a lot of terrain, I'm not gonna lie. And that's 6 big ass runners of terrain. You get down to these guys. So these are the horns of a shoot. Let's see what stands out here. I do like these flails. I think they're cool. I'm not a big fan of the flails. It's a lot of armor and stuff. I think I'd be tempted to do these guys in like kind of like warm kind of bronzes and reds maybe. Because there's a lot of flesh on them too. Like all their backs and chests are exposed. A bunch of them, like this guy here, he's not even wearing shoes. So it looks like only if you're some kind of boss do you get shoes. Honestly, it's pretty shitty. I probably wouldn't join these guys if I couldn't have shoes. But I really like the flail weapons. I think they're cool. Flails are really neat weapons. This is just the backside. Not anything particularly stand out there. It does look like the cow parts of the helmets are separate, but it doesn't look like the helmet is complete. It's like you can see a helmet here where it's missing the top of the cow head. And then here's the cow head I'm betting for it, because that's part 12 and this is part 14. So I'm betting this is the cow head right here for it. Sorry. Right there. But it doesn't look like this helmet's complete without it. So even if you wanted to, I don't think you could like take the cow heads off. Honestly, the cow heads are cool though. I think they're neat. So, all right, this one's some bigger guys. It looks like. So I'm assuming these are like the champions and the elites and stuff. That's a really cool cow head with the horns and shit. The chain. That's really cool. There's a really big flail. There's a big like pokem stick. Here's that flamethrower. This is pretty boss. A little whip, looks like. It looks like some kind of spade. That's weird. Yeah, the big standouts here for me are this two-handed flail, this two-handed pokey thing, and the flamethrower. Oh, and here's the hand holding the grenade. So you guys are gonna get grenades too. Yeah, they're pretty cool. They look like they'll be fun. There's a bunch of nice detail on them, but it doesn't look like too much. You are going to be painting a bunch of straps and like, just pull them over again. You're going to be painting a bunch of straps and stuff, and a ton of metal rings. Well, I guess you're really not going to be painting that many straps. You're going to be painting lots of chain and metal rings. So these guys are definitely going to be like using that wash. Lots and lots of wash. And if you look at this guy's butt here, right, you've got cloth, metal plate, chain, what's probably a leather belt, and then metal breastplate. There are tiny runes in some of the metal like plates, but unless you're like a painting god, you'll never be able to paint those, so you're gonna have to wash them. Alright, and then over to the Rottmeier Creed. These runners are not nearly as packed. Look at the difference there. They're still pretty packed, but they're not dense like the shit ones are. Over to the Rottmeier. These are really the guys I think are the coolest, because they have all the like kind of weird cobbled together weapons and stuff. All their stuff's made out of like reeds and like, look at this. It's like some kind of... Hello! How is the Netherlands? I hope it is good. I was gonna say I hope it's Nether-y, but that doesn't make any sense, so I apologize. Greetings from Hawaii. So yeah, this is really neat. It's like a big, I don't know, like piece of stick or something, and then he's run other like sharpened sticks through it, and then it's got like a hook. It's just kind of cool. It's like, I don't know, kind of like a bigger like fish hook. You could probably imagine him like spinning it around and then like whoosh, letting the rope go and then like the hook going out, kind of thing. He's got a bunch of rope here in his hand, so you can see him like whoosh, blooming hot. Yeah, I heard it's super hot over in the EU right now. And that all those areas are not like kind of made to handle it, if that makes sense. Out here in Hawaii, it's the perfect day every day, which is amazing. But we, you know, have lots of like air conditioning and stuff like that. There's a very strong Japanese influence out here, so we don't have central air like a lot of the US does, but we have these like split units in a lot of houses and stuff. Alright, yeah, see, here's another one. There's hook weapons. They're really cool. I like those a lot. We got lots of like reed armor. Lots and lots of reed armor. Really cool net. The net's awesome. Here's some like claws. Like little shield piece. Yeah, it's really cool. Oh man, we got more. We got more of those cool hook things. Look at that. Yeah, I really like those. Those are really neat weapons. I don't have anything in my collection that's like those, so they're really neat. More of these like Zulu style, African style shields, which are kind of cool. There's some kind of like trophy rack. It's pretty neat. We have fans. When the sun is lower, open doors. Yeah, a lot of people out here in Hawaii actually don't have AC and stuff. We do because we have it put in. But like a lot of people, there's just windows and doors open all the time and fans because there's like a constant breeze here. Plus, like, unlike in a place that's not used to like tons of heat, the people out here kind of are used to it, if that makes sense. So it's just sort of, you know, like we'll have like 110 degree day and it's, you know, it'll just be like a little hot out here. You know what I mean? But like if you're not used to that, like, whoo, man, that'll fucking cook you. That's a really weird, cool helmet there. That's the leader. I think he has like a frog too. Like he's holding a frog or it's sitting on his shoulder. Oh, there it is. There it is. There's the frog. Love that box for the terrain alone. See, I wasn't sold on the terrain, but looking at it now, it seems pretty cool. I'm looking forward to building it. I was debating selling it off, but I think I'll build it. It looks pretty damn cool. But yeah, there's the frog. That's really cool. No. Yeah, these guys are pretty boss, not gonna lie. Pretty damn cool. Alright, so we looked at the dice, we looked at the guys. Let's look at the board and tokens and stuff. I'm never into these boards, so I'll probably give this away, but I've given a lot of these boards away. Not this one specifically, but over the years, these like play boards, I've given a lot of them away. Because I have Neoprene Mats that I play on. So underneath of this is a Neoprene Mat, and that's when I film my games and stuff. I just film it right here. Oh, the best thing in the whole box right there. God, I love these. Literally the best thing. Both warbands don't do it for me. I do like the Chosen and Be'lakor. Those look awesome. They're out for pre-order next week. I saw! Yeah, the Chosen and Be'lakor are fantastic. And so is the Centaurian. I'm definitely going to be grabbing both of those. Next week is surprising a lot of really cool stuff. All the stuff for Necromunda next week looks really good. And the AOS box is cool, but I don't think it's for me. Let's see what we got. A ton of wound counters. These are phenomenal wound counters for like every game, by the way. These are just legit. Bunch of different tokens. The used in action token. So yeah, pretty standard token sheet. What you get for Warcry. It's got everything you need as far as tokens goes. And then the board. So I'm not going to be able to unfold this on camera, I don't think. Let's try. That is surprisingly high quality. As far as these boards go, that is very high quality. What's the other side look like? Is it different? Oh, it is. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's a really neat texture. So yeah. It's called weapons, they're jaw drop. Literally. As they probably cut you apart with them. Yeah, they're awesome. Like, super awesome. I was hoping they would do Flesh Terror or Flesh Ripper. No, Corpse Grinder Cult. Corpse Grinder Cult weapons. I have Corpse Grinder Cult in a bag behind me. And they're actually not assembled. Because I was hoping they would do weapons for them, and they actually did. So I was really happy to see that. Especially the big two-handed axe is awesome. And so are the little flamers that sort of look like Mac 9s. They're really cool. I was like, boy, these good. Alright. See what else we got. We've got books and we've got cards. Let's do the books first. And we'll do the cards last. So you get 2 books in this. You get a book specifically for these 2 warbands, and then you get a core book. The core book has some of the new rules in it, and it's got the new campaign stuff. Oh, assembly instructions. We'll look at those first. Let's actually go through one of these, and then we'll look at the assembly instructions. So let's go through the big one first, I guess. Alright, here we go. We got our guys there on the back. It's just a nice picture of battle. All the filigree on the side's really neat with like the bones and the skulls all kind of mixed into wood. That's really neat. For plunder and glory, the journey continues. Welcome to the feral wilderness of the Gnarlwood, where the trees hunger for blood and unfathomable treasures lie dormant beneath a writhing canopy. Here lies the legendary ruin of Talaxis, a shattered void ship whose vaults are filled with treasures and hazards beyond imagining. This is just talking about Warcry. Build, paint, play. There's the Legionnaires. What is this? What is this stuff? It's not in the box. Interesting. Yeah, that piece isn't in the box. The one with like the cow over the fire pit and all the barrels and chests and stuff. I wonder what that is. There's some Arn golems from the Horns of Hashut. I think they'd be friends. Then we got Rottmeier Creed and Unmade, maybe? A little hard to tell who the other people are there. There's your box art, a little bit better. So show in the box. Yep, anytime. It is 10 a.m. over here. So I hope you have a pleasant evening. Or pleasant sleep. Thank you for coming. The Age of Sigmar. For centuries, the mortal realms endured a nightmarish tyranny. Its lands and people ground beneath the heels of the dark gods. Just as the cosmos seemed on the brink of utter destruction, a new sun dawned. Final glorious hope for all mortal kind. Oh, cool. The Thornspine Leonax is a terror of the Thondian plains and hunts prey several times its size. Stop. That's cool. Oh, we got another little animal. The tongue of the Vorkskilid secretes an acidic slime and is highly prized by the gold wizards of the Collegiate Arcane for its potency as a solvent. Sure. There's Hashut and the Creed fighting there. Oh, we got something else. Garnox was revealed by some tribes of beastmen who pile foul offerings by their dens. It's kind of cool. It's got a hand for a tongue. It's a neat one. So a lot of this is just background for the setting. Just kind of cool. The Blood Ruck is a terrifying avian killer that lurks in the upper reaches of the Gnarlwood canopy. Secrets of the Gnarlwood. The Eater Pits. Camp Fortune. The Great Stinkhorn. The Weird Lights. The Tainted Wound. It's cool. There's a vampire thing in there called Count Voltaire's Blood Hunt. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, just the Vaults of Wonder. Just all kinds of little setting for the background and stuff. And then is this just fluff for each faction? Dark Oath Savagers, the Untamed Beasts. Oh yeah, and then we get pictures. There's the Centaurian. God, he's cool. He is such a cool model. 10 out of 10. Oh, look, they have a Skaven. That's awesome. Yeah. Untamed Beasts, Splintered Fangs, Spire Tyrants. Showing off all the different factions there. There's the Chaos Legionaries. They're the ones that are just coming out. These are the two in the book here, in the box here. Then we got a thing on the Sentinels of Order. What we got here? Shadow Stalkers, Daughters of Cain, Caradon Overlords. There's a bird. There's some Seraphon. Oh, I didn't know the Lumineth could use the kangaroos. God, I love those kangaroos. I wish the Lumineth were cooler. Those kangaroos are such cool models. Oh, we got some trees and just tons and tons of Stormcast. Showing off the Charybdis there. That's really neat. Ooh, that's a cool picture. That's a cool picture. That's super cool. Oh, they're showing off stuff from the Cursed City box. There's the Kasagi Night Guard there. He's a Cursed City guy. She's a cool model. I should get her. Tons of stuff for the Flesh Eater Courts. Oh, they're really cool. Osiris Bone Reaper stuff. And we got some Ghosty Boys. And then we're into Destruction. So you got Troggoths and Gits and Grots and Boys. Got Crow Boys and Maul Tribes and Bone Splitters. There's an Orange Jaws and a Weird Knob. Yeah, it's nice. It's just like a section showing you all the different things you could do. Here's some weird. That's really neat. It's like elevated pieces they made for the terrain. It's pretty cool, actually. That's really cool, actually. Okay, hold on. We need to take a closer look at this photo. This is really neat. So they made like an elevated like rock cliff, and they have the walkway going out over it. That's really cool. Look at that. That's really cool, actually. That's super cool. Playing Warcry. 3 ways to play. And core rules. Here's how to read one of the cards. Nothing's really changed there. You need some dice. The Warbands. So, very interestingly, one of the neatest changes they made is they got rid of the hero, or I'm sorry, they got rid of the leader rune mark, and it has become the hero rune mark. And you can actually have up to 3 of these on your team, which is really neat. Alright. So, you pick your cards: terrain step, deployment step, victory condition step, twist step, initiative phase. All that stuff's exactly the same. Roll 6 dice. You do your combats. This is new. This reactions thing. I wish there were some cooler reactions. I haven't really seen any awesome ones. But they're really neat. There's still a cool idea, even if I haven't seen any that have like blown my dick off kind of thing. All the different ways to move: climbing, flying, falling. We have some nice illustrations here, which is very cool. How to attack: pick a target, roll to hit. There's your chart to determine whether or not you hit. You can disengage, you can wait. Then we get into the abilities. Here's your standard abilities. Let's see. Rush is still add 1 to the move. Onslaught is add 1 to the attacks. Okay, it's still the same. It says, now specifically says melee attack action, so that's fair. Respite is remove wounds. Inspiring presence: pick a visible fighter within 6 inches. Only leaders can do this, or heroes, sorry. 6 inches of this fighter is not activated yet. This battle round, you can activate that fighter immediately after this fighter's activation ends. I don't remember that, but that's neat. Yeah, I think that's new. And then there's the rampage is still the same. Alright, so reactions. Reactions are things a fighter can do during an enemy's activation. There are 3 universal reactions that can be made by any fighter. Plus you get extra ones for your faction. Each reaction states when the fighter can make the reaction. Okay. The fighter has not yet activated yet in the battle round. The fighter has activated, but they are waiting. The battle is a campaign battle, and the fighter has more than 1 levels of reaction. Okay. Counter. A fighter can make this reaction after they're targeted by a melee attack, but before the hit roll is made. For each hit roll from that attack action that misses, allocate 1 damage point to the attacking fighter. For each hit roll of 1, allocate 2 damage points to the attacking fighter instead. You can take cover. So once you're targeted, but before the hit rolls are made. After the hit rolls have been made, roll a dice for each critical hit. On a 4+, that critical hit becomes a hit instead. That's pretty lame. A fighter can make this reaction when a visible enemy fighter with 1 inch makes a disengage action before the fighter moves away. Roll a dice on a 4+, allocate d6 points to that enemy fighter. That's kind of cool. So these 3 things, they're intended as like sort of balancing for some of the what people consider like overpowered strats in Warcry, and that's crit fishing with a lot of hits that have a very high chance of missing. So you take an enemy with very low strength and you just have them have 1 billion attacks with high crit damage. You just send them in. Ranged attacks, so that's what take cover's about. And the other one is disengaging and sort of like wasting your enemy's actions. That's what take them down is for. Terrain! Falling off terrain, unscalable terrain, stairs, archways, doors, cover. Okay. Obstacles and platforms can provide protection to fighters from attacks. When a fighter is targeted by an attack action, players must first determine if they are in cover. This is new. If a fighter is in cover, add 1 to their toughness characteristic for the duration of the attack action. Okay. Yeah, so there's now a little cover roll, which is nice. That'll help with range as well. Objectives and treasure tokens. Dropping treasure, carrying treasure. Allies, thralls, and monsters. Allies are powerful fighters from other factions that can be included in your warband. A hero can include any fighter. You can include any fighter with the hero rune mark or the ally rune mark in the warband as an ally if they meet the following criteria. Their faction rune mark is different from the chosen one of your warband. Their faction rune mark belongs to the same Grand Alliance as your warband's faction rune mark. Okay, so that's cool. So that's a really nice rule for the Underworld's warband guys. So if you wanted to just dump them in your team, you could. You include up to 2 allies in your warband. In addition, if their ally has a hero rune mark, they count towards your limit of 3 heroes. An ally obviously can't be the leader. Allies have to use the abilities of their own rune mark. Thralls are beasts and other creatures of warband combined to their bidding. Include a fighter with a thrall rune mark. If your rune mark has a thrall, their faction rune mark belongs to the same Grand Alliance. You can have up to 3 thralls. Okay. You can have 1 fighter with a monster rune mark as long as the Grand Alliance matches. Okay, deployment. Monsters have special activations. Okay. And there's special stuff for monsters and hunting monsters and all that. Whoa, Mama Jama. That's a lot of little icons. Zerker, Destroyer, Mount, Hero. There is no fucking way you're ever remembering these. Yeah. That's not happening. Oh god, there's more. Seraphon, Fire Slayer, Stormcast, Phoenicium, Corvus Cabal, Gloomspike Gets, Cruel Voids, Ogres. At least some of the faction ones are kind of obvious, so that's good. Yeah, I really like this. This, like, pieces of race terrain they made. Those are really cool. Alright, open play. Play whatever the hell you want. Coalitions of Death team battles. What are these? Oh, this is just playing with extra people. And you could play on larger battles and stuff like that. Okay. In Triumph and Treachery, enemies are plentiful and allies are few. Your warband will face not one but multiple opponents. To achieve victory requires both cunning and strength. Alright, so more like multiple player things. That's cool. I do like multiplayer ones. Match play. Okay, so real talk. Don't play match play if you play Warcry. Just don't. It's not the best way to play it. Play like the story battles or play a campaign. They're the way better ways to play Warcry. Running a Warcry tournament. Narrative play. Alright, now we're good in the good shit. Alright, one off. In a campaign, each of your warband's battles are linked. Yep, because it's a campaign. Warband roster, the records all the details of the warband. Warband will evolve and change from battle to battle. You'll get traits and blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah, useless. The first step is to complete a warband roster. This contains a list of all the fighters in your warband and also bits of information such as where their encampment is, how much glory they have, and any artifacts of power they have gained. Each time you fight a Warcry battle, the fighters, including your warband, will be drawn from the warband roster. After each campaign battle, you must resolve a series of steps called the Aftermath sequence. Here you will earn glory based on how your warband fared in battle, and you will determine if any of your fighters have suffered injuries or been killed. You'll also be able to send fighters forth deeper into the Gnarlwood to search for treasure and new locations for your encampment. As you fight campaign battles, you will have the chance to complete quests. There are many different quests to choose from, and each offers a unique reward once completed. For example, you might be able to find an artifact of power, a mighty relic, or a magical weapon to use. Some quests have unique quest battle plans too, including one that involves tracking down a monster and defeating in the battle before you get out to your warband roster. Lastly, campaign arcs are optional layers players can add to their campaigns to further enrich the narrative. Some campaign arcs cater to just 2 players, while there are 3 or more. During a campaign arc, the warband involved will battle each other in a series of linked campaign battles. Alright. We're going to make a warband roster. The first step is to choose a faction. You must have at least 3 fighters. All fighters you add to the warband roster must be the faction rubric of your warband. In the beginning, apparently you can't have allies, thralls, and monsters. Be one and only one fighter with the hero room mark. Cannot exceed 1,000 points. Once you have finished adding fighters to your warband roster, the next step is to pick one heroic trait for your leader from the table below. The leader also starts with 1 level of renown. Okay. Heroic traits. Can be a ferocious combatant. Add 1 to the attacks. They can add 1 to the move. Each time this fighter activates, you can remove D3 damage points allocated to them. Wow, that's amazing. Gain 1 additional wild dice. That's also really good. Each time an attack action scores any critical hits on this fighter, this critical hit becomes a hit instead. That's stupid. Once per battle, this fighter can use the Inspiring Presence ability without needing to use any ability dice. Wow, there's some really good stuff here. The heal, the Inspiring Presence thing is good. And just the raw stat increases are good. Choose your first quest. Next step is to choose your warband's first quest. A quest is your goal your warband is currently striving to achieve. You'll be able to complete it by doing certain things earlier in the campaign battles or during the aftermath sequence. It's a bunch of quests and stuff for different places and things. Okay, cool. You can get a bunch of different quests. They come in different books and stuff. Finishing touches. Encampment location and state. On your warband roster, note down your encampment location as being outside the Gnarlwood. As you fight campaign battles, you'll be able to venture into the Gnarlwood and establish your encampment in different locations. You can learn more about this on page 110. Alright, so your guys are living in like a shithole somewhere. And there's glory. Your warband's reputation. Okay, cool. And you fight campaign battles. You just have to draw everybody from the warband roster. And then you just finish the aftermath sequence, and that's it. Let's see. You compare reputation. Okay, and if you have the lower bonus, if you have the lower reputation, you get the underdog receives 1 additional wild dice in the initiative phase. Their opponent's reputation is 5 or greater. The underdog receives 2 wild dice instead. If it's 10 or more, you receive 3. Okay, you can also run away from the battle now. I think that's new. And then you go through the aftermath sequence. Yeah, I mean, that seems really solid. I'm going to be super honest. This seems super inspired by Frostgrave. Like the way you have a base and the way you can like send guys out and stuff. This seems super inspired by Frostgrave. Over the old like way you used to do it, where you would do like a battle, special battle, special like that. This seems way different. Oh man, look, you can have all kinds of different bases. You can have a time-worn ruin, a wellspring, which gives you additional pluses to your recovery rolls. There's a bunch of cool stuff in there. And a bunch of these actually increase your points limits too. It's kind of cool. You can recruit different fighters, how much glory it costs, making your encampment check. Your encampment can like essentially become under attack, it looks like. Yeah, let's see. In this step, make an encampment check by rolling 2 dice. Do not add the scores together. Instead, check if either or both dice scored a 1. Each roll of 1 is a fail. The first fail you roll for your encampment changes its state from secure to threatened. The second fail you roll for your encampment changes its state from threatened to compromised. Interesting. Okay. Quests. There are Grand Alliance quests, and there are Universal quests. Universal quests. When embarked upon this quest in Step 5 of the Aftermath sequence, you can pick up to 3 fighters from your warband roster and send them forth to search for the artifact. To do so, roll a dice for each fighter you picked, adding 1 to the roll if you won the last campaign battle. Then add the rolls together. This score represents your progress. Keep a record of your progress in your quest log. In addition to a modified roll of 1, the fighter being rolled for is attacked by something within the Gnarlwood. Make an injury roll. Once you reach 10, you complete the quest. And you get to roll to get some kind of fancy artifact. That's cool. Pick a fighter with a hero remark. While embarked upon this quest in Step 4 of the Campaign Battles Aftermath sequence, you can complete enemy fighter as a hero remark was taken down. Okay, so you have to kill other people. Secure an ally, explore the Gnarlwood, fight for glory, hunt a beast, and they all give you different benefits and stuff. Break its spirit. That's really cool. Gifts of the Dark Gods. If you want to be a champion of chaos. If you want to desecrate the land with a fell ritual. You got some order quests. This quest thing is really neat. That's really neat. Alright, so let's see what a campaign arc is. So I continue to introduce campaign arcs. Additional narrative frameworks players can add to their campaign battles. This shares some similar whereas quests or solo affairs. Campaign arcs involve multiple warbands. Okay. Each campaign arc tells a different story. For example, one campaign arc might tell the tale of a warband encroaching on another's territory, whereas they clash multiple times to determine the victor. Another might pitch multiple warbands against each other as they search for an area of the Gnarlwood for particular valuable treasure. Alright, so the quests are like individual things related to you, and the campaign arcs are things that like you share. Chaotic Valley, the Chotek Valley. A bunch of Seraphon can attack your ass. And then we get down to the battle plan generator, which is pretty darn cool. Oh, there's a bunch of them. Yeah, and then you got all your rosters and stuff. So yeah, pretty good. Definitely a nice upgrade over the old one. I really like how the new campaign system. I think that's really interesting and exciting. I have to figure out what warband I'm gonna do, because we'll definitely play some games of this on the channel. We'll play like a little campaign on the channel. I have to figure out what warband I'm gonna play. I'm thinking maybe those gits I made for AOS and then never played. I'm thinking maybe we'll do some of those up. That'll be fun. We'll have them venturing around in the Gnarlwood and they can fight like the new guys and stuff. Alright, so let's look at the instructions so I can give my voice a break from reading books. And let's see what we got. Alright, so this guy can have the hook, or he can have the little spear thing. Looks like our boss isn't going to get any options. This guy here can have a net or double claws. So we got a couple options so far, which is pretty sweet. And then we've got, oh yeah, it looks like everybody can have hooks or the cool fish hook thing. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to go with the cool fish hook thing for like everybody. Oh god, look, everybody's got options in this warband. That's cool as hell. Yeah, look, they can all have these double weapons, or they can have the shield and like this other weapon. And there's a lot of options there. That's really cool. Yeah, that's super boss. Wow, I did not expect them to have that many options. That's really neat. Alright, see what we got here. We got our cowboy, and then it looks like he can have different horn options. Clearly the one with the chains is the much cooler one. And then you can have weapon options. You can have the poker or the flail. And you can have a regular hand or the gas grenade. And we can have flails and poker or double mace. It doesn't look like these guys get options. So the Hordes of Hashut do not have as many options, considering the Rottmeier Creed, everybody has options. And there's definitely some though, which is pretty cool. If you want them to have like tridents or shovels or hammers, different kinds of picks and stuff. So these guys have some options there. But yeah, man, the Rottmeier Creed I was not expecting them to have many options, but they do, and that's awesome. Alright, and then building one of the trees. Get one of the trees. There are a lot of pieces. Big skeleton, a bonehead, which has a big tree growing out of it again. Yeah, this terrain's a lot more complex than I thought it was. A lot more complex. There's the big skull. There's just a ton of pieces in it. Thankfully, I'm not seeing a lot of ways of like screwing it up, like with the first terrain, so that's really good. Yeah, and there's a bunch of options. You can hook it all together or make different little displays and stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. That terrain looks cooler than I thought it would be. And the Rottmeier Creed, them having so many options is really cool. The Horde of the should have a couple of options, but the Rottmeier Creed, literally every guy in that box has an option. Alright, let's see what we got. Flames and Filth. That's what they should name the book. Yeah, these guys are, the Rottmeier Creed are worshippers of Nurgle. Escalation. A ravening ruin. Bitter hatred. We got some background on the Rottmeier Creed. We got some background on the Horns of Hashut. And just I guess this is actually showing you all the options. So the flamethrower guy is always going to be a flamethrower guy. That guy can have a couple different weapons. Your boss can have different weapons. The other guy can have different maces. These guys down here are always the same, and then these guys up here have options. It's a shame they didn't do that same thing for these guys. They did it here, and then I guess you can see it here too. There's the big centaur bro. The rules. So these are special rules just for these guys, the different stuff they can do. They all have a blowpipe, which is pretty cool. Half the value of this ability. Ooh, so they roll, they're like, boom, boom, and they roll 2 dice and on 4 pluses. Half the value of the dice is on there. And if they roll a 6, you subtract 1 from the fighter's toughness. Gruesome Harvest. A fighter can use his ability only if the enemy fighter has been taken down by a melee attack action by them in this activation. The fighter now has a potential vial, a potent vial until the end of the battle. When a fighter has a potent vial when they use the ability, the value of the ability is treated as being 6, even if the ability dice show a different score. That's kind of cool. So you kill somebody, and then you can basically just have like a permanent 6. So you could turn this blowpipe into 3s. That's pretty cool. And it looks like everyone can do that. And then most people, it looks like, have a blowpipe. The only ones that don't have a blowpipe are the boss and either claw guy or net guy. It's pretty cool. And then everybody's got their, like, one reaction. It's not. It's just more generic. Merciless Cruelty. The next attack action made by this fighter, this activation scores a critical hit on a 5+. If the target already has 5 or more points of damage allocated to them before the attack action is made. So if they're like weakened, you basically have a higher chance of doing crits. That's pretty cool. This one's basically a trample. Let's see. This one, essentially a flamethrower where you hit a guy and then hits other people. The ash bomb reduces their toughness, which is kind of neat. Alright, let's see. Anything here stand out? Not really. It would be really nice if that included maybe like a thrall or something for each one of these. Since you have this like Centaurian coming out with the next warband. And he's an ally for them. I thought there was a picture of him in here. There he is. Since you got him coming out with the next warband, it would have been really nice if they had had similar things for both the Horns of Hashut and the Rottmeier Creed. That would have been really neat. So this is special rules. I never use special rules for terrain, to be honest. The Campaign of Terror. Here are some Rottmeier Creed specific quests. It's pretty rad. Yeah, looks like each one of them has 3 special quests, including one that has a battle associated with it. Campaign arc. That's kind of cool how it shows you how the campaigns go different ways depending on who wins and stuff. That's pretty cool. Nice. Yeah, so this is just the rules specifically for these 2 teams. I hope they're just included in the compendium. They probably won't be, but I hope they are. Alright, what do we have left to look at? Oh, we got these guys. We got the cards. I apologize. Reading books on stream kind of sucks the energy out of me. But I'm going to be honest. I really like everything I've seen. Super, super cool. The new campaign system seems really nice. I'm actually really excited to try it out. The models are actually way better than I thought they were, and so is the terrain. Like, yeah, cool stuff. Alright, so we got ability cards and a nice visual guide for the fighter types. Right there. And we've got, this is if you have multiple of the same fighter type, you can put a mark on them. And then you use this to track their damage if you want to. I never use those. And we've got the Rottmeier Creed. I wish they hadn't put this line here. I wish it went straight to the end. It would look nicer. Rottmeier Creed, guys. Right there. And the Horns of Hashut. Hold on. I guess the Shatterer, regardless of whatever weapon you give them, is just one guy. Yeah, same for these guys. That's technically one guy too. Neat. Okay. It makes it easier. Ooh, twists. Look at those in a minute. Actually, let's look at those now. Let's see. Thick obscuring fog. Thick fog obscures the battlefield. Torrential rain. Filtering heat. Dead of night. Dusk. Dawn. Creature in the dark. Murky swampland. Thick foliage. Gaze of the dark gods. Players roll 7 initiative dice. That's cool. Each time a player uses a wild dice, they must first roll it. On a 4+, the wild dice can be used as normal. On a 1 to 3, it's discarded. That's super cool. Yeah. Just cool twist cards. Alright, we got different victory conditions. The Cursed Relic. Glimmers in the Dark. No Quarter. Higher Ground. This is probably my favorite Warcry victory condition right here. Is Higher Ground. I really like that one. Cut off the head. Alright, so these all seem pretty much the same. I think there is some new ones in here, like the Comet and stuff. There's a lot of like really good ones in here too. Yeah, I think there's a couple new ones mixed in there. Chuck all these in a box, to be honest. Let's see. These are the train cards. I'm never going to use these. I don't like train cards. I like setting up the train myself. I think it's more fun, and I can generally make cooler designs than what the train cards tell you to do. So, not a big fan of the train cards. Different deployments. First blood, death blow, knife in the back, bloodbath, standoff. Yeah, all standard. Bunch of neat ones in there. Nice. Well, these will be my 3 decks here. And you get cards for cardboard. You get cards for all the deployment stuff, all the like game setup stuff, and then you get cards for the 2 warbands in it, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, this box is it's really baller. I'm not gonna lie. This is actually a fantastic box. I'm like, I was pretty excited for this box, but I'm genuinely like impressed with it. Really good. Just the factions you get, the options they have, the changes in the roles are really nice. The new campaign system sounds really fun. I'm looking forward to playing that on the channel. Yeah, the terrain is cooler than I thought it would be. I mean, everything about this box is like a thumbs up for me. The only nice thing that they could have added in here was a set of allies. Because the original Warcry box came with that. Or rather, a bunch of thralls. It came with a bunch of like animals. If they had this in here, Even if it was like one runner with like one or two animals on it, like some of the stuff from there was onto that on here. This box would rival the original Warcry box. It's really good. It's remarkably good. If, like I said, if there had been a runner in here with some creatures on it, this would legitimately rival the original Warcry box. But yeah, really, really good. Just super good box. I am impressed. Really like the new campaign system. I'm already thinking about what I want to play. You know what I mean? I think I'm going to play my Gits, actually. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think that would be fun. Take a whole big group of squigs into the Gnarlwood, and then I'll paint these two teams up and they can fight them in battles on the channel. That'll be really neat. Anyway, yeah, this is a hell of a box. Just fantastic. I am really impressed. Yeah, super impressed. But I'm going to go ahead and call it there because I'm running out of energy and I got to save a little bit up. So I'm going to play Pokemon with my nephew this afternoon. So I got to save a little bit of energy, so I'm not going to build anybody on stream today. I'll probably build them this afternoon by myself so I can recoup. Alright, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call it there. Thank you for watching. Hell of a box. I'm genuinely really impressed with this box. If it had a runner or two of monsters on it, this box would be as good as the original Warcry box. The campaign system in this is way better. I'm already thinking about oh man, do I do this or do I do that? What faction do I want to try the campaign out for first, kind of thing. You know what I mean? That's really nice. It's really got me thinking. The campaign system seems to actually ripped a lot of stuff off from Frostgrave, which is really cool because that's a wonderful game. And it just seems like a wonderful improvement to Warcry. Really good stuff. Alright, I'm going to call it there. Thank you guys for watching. Hell of a box. 10 out of 10. Would highly recommend. But yeah, thank you guys for watching.